Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Voice of opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is the show, my people. Billy's our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. This the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes to WB. And all the things that must happen and not got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Billy's here. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Another day is here. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Voice of opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play a role, get where you need to. Look and tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time calling is the show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Another day is here. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Voice of opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is the show, my people. Billy's our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. This the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that must happen and not got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Billy's here. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Another day is here. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Voice of opinion and place your calling. WB. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Another day is here. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Voice of opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is the show, my people. Billy's our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. This the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that must happen and not got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Billy's here. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Another day is here. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's. Voice of opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play a role, get where you need to. Look and tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time calling is the show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Billy's. Wake up, Billy's.
Good morning, Billy's. Welcome to the WB Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibe. Hosting today, Tuesday, 10th of June, 2025. And wherever you are, we hope that your morning is getting off to a beautiful start. We hope you have great health, energy, high vibrations, positive, your space enough, flexibility, there. You can be here, you can call in, you could reason with we, you could be a part of the WUB, Belize's premier morning conversation, the people's conversation, right here on Creme Radio and on XTV. We want to welcome you all, whether you're to listen, whether you're to watch, or you're getting us via your apps or social media streams or simulcast coverage. That's great. Make yourselves at home. We start now with what we call the preliminaries, which means we get you up to date with the latest news. And firstly, we've got your weather forecast from the National Meteorological Service, and they tell us what kind of forecast we can expect. And for that, we turn to the Met Service. We've got forecaster Tariq Matthews to line us up.
Good morning, Belize. A relatively moist east to southeasterly airflow prevails. The 24-hour forecast: sunny with some cloudy spells today and partly cloudy skies tonight. Showers will be generally isolated, with a medium chance of a few more occurring mainly over the north this afternoon and the extreme south tonight. The maximum temperatures for today will reach 88 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 95 inland and 82 up in the hills. The lower temperatures for tonight will be around 81 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 73 inland and 68 up in the hills. The winds will be from the east-southeast at 10 to 20 knots, and the sea conditions will be moderate. A high tide will occur this morning at 8:43, a low tide this evening at 4:25, another high tide tonight at 10:35, and another low tide early tomorrow morning at 3:12. The sun rose this morning at 5:17 and will set this evening at 6:27. The moon will rise this evening at 6:13 and will set early tomorrow morning at 5:19. The outlook for Wednesday and Wednesday night: skies will be partly cloudy to cloudy. The shower activity will be generally isolated, with a few more expected mostly over the south Wednesday night. In the tropical weather outlook for the North Atlantic Basin, tropical cyclone formation is not expected during the next 48 hours. For a review of our forecast and other products, please visit our website at nms.gov.bz. With that, we end this morning's forecast from the Belize National Met Service.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989, Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
And now making news this morning, the senior courts yesterday finally admitted that the IT issues they confirmed last week were actually a cyber attack, as we had reported. Despite the admission, however, the court remains vague about the crippling situation. In its statement Monday, it says the cyber attack was identified by their IT staff, who are working with an incident response team to assess and remedy the breach. Thereafter, they state only that the courts remain committed to delivering judicial services to all court users, and we are working to fully restore the IT systems as quickly and safely as possible. We'll provide further updates as more information becomes available. We are told that the cyber attack continues to impact court appearances and schedules. In the case of one jurisdiction, sources say hearings are being truncated so that their computer devices can be sent for scanning. As top cop, Dr. Richard Wasada now shoulders the great responsibility of overseeing the machinery and human resources that are tasked with ensuring public safety while navigating the scrutiny that comes with the high office. Yesterday, Dr. Wasada was asked to speak about the meeting with the Belize National Teachers Union President Nadia Khalis and to respond to the pointed criticism from Public Union Service President Dean Flowers.
I believe the meeting was productive, it was fruitful. We recognize that the plight that the teachers and the unions and the public officers are going through, but our discussion mainly centered about doing their protests within the context of the law and within the ensuring that we have an open dialogue moving forward, and the unions have committed to having an open dialogue. We also recognize that the situation in Dangriga, as highlighted by the union, was an anomaly in respect to all other demonstrations across the country. For the most part, the unions have been peaceful in terms of doing their demonstration, and we welcome that, and we ask them to continue to dialogue with us.
So would you respond? Consideration made when you decided to drop these charges?
Well, The union brought to us additional evidential material for us to consider in our deliberation to withdraw the charges.
How would you respond to the PSU president sort of calling you out, saying that you're weaponizing the police department, that he called you a puppet? You know, it was a plethora of commentary against you.
It is difficult, or I should say, I should be careful in what I will say, but it is difficult for me to respond to someone who does not understand the dynamics of policing, who does not understand the challenges in policing. I believe that individual just wants to spew nonsense for his own aggrandizement. But I want to ask you in the media to ask him how his phone number connected to him is linked to a high-profile investigation involving public officers.
We note that Dr. Osado did not provide more details about the investigation he says involved Flowers. Flowers had insinuated the allegation will end in court. In more union news, late Monday, the Public Service Union shared with its membership the result of the vote on the government's second counter-proposal on an 8.5% salary increase that the public sector workers are seeking. According to the PSU, 94.3% rejected the offer and 91.9% support declaring a trade dispute effective today, June 10th. In a circular to membership, PSU President Dean Flowers notified that in accordance with their mandate, the union is invoking Section 11 of the Settlement of Disputes in Essential Services Act by communicating a declaration of a trade dispute to the Minister of Labour. This is to be delivered this morning, and Flowers calls on all members in the Western District towns to join the union leadership in a peaceful walk to the ministry to submit the declaration. Last week, there were reports of a leaking roof at the Raccoon Street Police Station in Belize City. It prompted the Ministry of Home Affairs to issue an extended release addressing the urgent need for maintenance of our aging infrastructure. Subsequently, reports emerged of the stench of dead rodents in the upper floors of the three-story building. ASP Stacey Smith addressed the matter yesterday.
The Belize Police Department, the Raccoon Street Police Station, are currently in the process of addressing a situation as it relates to rodents. The department has taken the necessary steps to address the issues, and we are of the view that a resolution will be brought about shortly. We have contacted the relevant authorities and the relevant experts in the field to assist.
This is a part of growing issue, infrastructural issue at the Raccoon Street Police Station. Leaks in the building, rodents. Now, how are officers at that precinct coping with this sort of working environment?
Well, I believe the issue of rodent is one that is common in the city, and the important thing is that it is being adequately addressed. As it relates to the leakages, the incident that had made wave on social media was as a consequence of a hatch being left open, and that created the situation. However, I believe the minister had indicated that there are plans to relocate. In the interim, the police officers are taking the necessary steps to protect themselves, as their health is certainly of paramount interest, and we certainly need them to be in the best of condition to provide the service the Belize people deserve.
And that brings us to the end of our morning news update. We will take ourselves a small break. When we come back on the other side, we open up for conversation. You're listening to Creme Radio, you're watching XTV. We will be right back.
Informative, accurate, current information. Crem's newscast. Local, regional, and international news. Weather and sports.
At Atlantic Bank, we stand as more than just a financial institution. We are your partners in progress, dedicated to fostering your success by providing tailored solutions to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Your successes are our triumphs, and every success story deserves to be celebrated. We pledge to stand by you every step of the way. Today, we celebrate the values that define you with your unwavering dedication, steadfast commitment, boundless innovation, resolute work ethic, and unyielding ambition. We will navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and continue building the future together.
Amandala is now online. You can now access Amandala's midweek and weekend issues online by logging on to our website at amandala.com.bz/news and joining our membership portal today. There's 5 easy steps to get unlimited access to weekly e-paper, archive publications, and a host of other exclusive contents. Number 1, go to Amandala's website. Number 2, navigate to subscribed areas. Number 3, choose a membership level. Number 4, check out using our secured portal. Number 5, log into the members only section. Telephone numbers 501-280-4703 or 202-4477. Fax us at 501-222-4702, or you could email at amandalapress@yahoo.com or amandalapress@gmail.com. Amandala, all power to the people.
Imagine getting rewards for your spending. Smart prepaid customers countrywide, it's time to level up with Smart Gains. Smart Gains are exclusive, limited time offers sent straight to your phone. We're talking irresistible rewards you'll actually want: extra credit, bonus data, and exclusive perks, all tailored to you. Because at Smart, we've always got your back. Don't miss out on rewards made just for you. Smart Gains, Smart Savings, Smart You. Smart, bringing people together.
All right, welcome back to the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's Tuesday morning, it's the 10th of June 2025, and we done with all the warm-up stuff. We done with all the appetizer things. We now deal with main event, main course. We're open for the business of conversation here on Creme Radio and XTV. This is WUB. There's nothing else like it. 25, moving on to 26 years of doing conversations 5 days a week. This morning, your host is myself and Mose, just in case, you know, get a voice or know the face. We operate using a phone, regular old traditional phone. You just call in and we have a call. Krem, good morning, WUB. We're having feedback, echo, and all of that going on, brother. You need to lower whatever it is you're listening to and listening.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yeah, better, sir.
Morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of more. It says sometimes when you have a conversation and a limited for time, you know.
Well, that's just the nature of things, sir. We're all limited on time. We're not there long, you know, so we have to.
That's true.
Yes, sir.
Let me get some pick up first before I pick up. You know the way it is?
Okay, sir.
All right, so I want to pick up Miss Smith over here at the police department. Somebody who is well, you know the path.
In the Hanley business.
Yeah.
ASP Smith.
Yeah, big up to she. I forget because, I mean, we have been struggling in the past, you know. We get details and information. You know the way it is?
Yes, sir.
Most well you know, the brother has been attacked. You know when I talk, I don't like go direct into details and call me, but you don't know who they talk about because by the end of the day, it's a topic of the day. The reality is that the brother has been attacked now, allegedly, you know, some investigation. We'll let that some on the side until we get more information about that. Most is a disturbing news coming out across almost. With a minor, our raping, will repeat itself. You know, will repeat itself. And I don't know how it happened because, I mean, for the first time, I want to say this, look at you directly to the point. I want to say this, I want to say to all parents out there, please, and I repeat myself, when your child is your signal and sign, don't ignore it. When the child is trying to get your attention, don't ignore it and sweep it under the rug. Don't turn a blind eye to it. You understand? Because some of these women out there, so, you know, they are so busy, so tired, so stressed out, so depressed. They may pay attention to the small things that is important. And that is signal when a child gives a signal that something is wrong. You know? And the rape repeats itself. You know? Allege. They said that it's the father. So my message this morning to these mothers, child, pay attention to your picnic.
Yeah. I think it's important to understand that statistically, extremely high percentage of child offenses, child abuse, child sexual abuse is but why don't you allow me to finish, man? I know a long bench, man. Allow me to finish my point, man. High percentage of child abuse or high percentage of these incidents, it's always somebody that is either a near family member or a family friend. So only a small instances, it's somebody that is a stranger. That's what makes it so dangerous because of somebody were there in your midst, where they laugh and talk with you and they take one leave bear with you, where they eye your child. Somebody will you comfortable, or somebody will actually the inner the house. And we don't want to make it seem like all stepfathers are this and in nature. It's just that you have somebody where you might not know that well yet. You have to be extremely careful. There are many excellent stepfathers. But like with anything, you have somebody in your house, you really have to make sure stay upon God and make the person understand this. This not personal. This not personal that I know that I'm a point where I could left my child in your presence. It's not personal. They have to know, not catch feelings over that. You might very well be an excellent person, but I know to give you that. There will be no opportunity, because again, most of the offenses against children are done by somebody within the home or somebody close to the home. That is just the reality. So you can't just swear for people or sometimes because somebody that want, an important friend or an important spouse, you can't leave your children unprotected.
Yeah, like between a rock and a hard place, because at the end of the day, that somebody way you believe them, you think mean good for you too. You are your family. You know? We have put that aside or watch out that one. Turn out. I want some the last one.
Yes, sir.
Well, I know it's happened a long time. With the police officers with a name card with the $11, man, that thing look bad. We don't listen to me. We don't rat. You get the police department already. You know? They will know. You know the building. And now $11.
Well, we have rat and rain.
They think the cars are. Most, I'm not sugarcoat it. They think they look packed. They think they bring shame in the police department. And I know somebody, upstanding police officer must feel bad. You get what I'm saying? Because by the end of the day, we are more than anything to go and laugh at time. You got police were straight away. You never have to edit most when they are checkpoint, they never have to ask for nothing. You don't shoot out and get out of juice while you are talking no way hot. You get what I'm saying? So talk about police, what we know when I just, we're alright, we're cool. This short period of time, when they're going to be my partner, they half an hour to an hour training and they bring you out a road here, that doesn't work. You see, they have to go back to the table and get a class to make they know how to deal with people, mental people. I'm supposed to go on the training. You can't learn it in 2 weeks. The thing is that where it says that anybody is taking at the police department. That's the reality. Anybody and everybody. Because of colleagues and friends, we're going to show that together. You know, and if somebody pick you with this much years in the force. Nothing wrong with that, you know. Don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with that, but in reality, it's a great shame. You know, some of the upstanding police officers who have dedicated themselves to the force. It brings shame. The last couple of years, we faced one lot of problem with police getting up. Police getting up free landing, police getting up all kind of theory here, police officers getting up. You know? And it's my own officer used to defend me. You know, because I'm the brightest and the smartest officer. You know, he used to defend me.
I think the best you can.
You know they're wrong.
I best.
Still happening?
the best you can do when you have an organization that is so large, it's a lot of police officers. The best you can do, because it's not enviable for have to account for the conduct of every single person, and one person do fool like everybody in the car key and blue pay the price for it. The best you can do is to make sure that when somebody is found to act in a way where bring down the reputation, that we hold them accountable and deal with them appropriately. That's the best you can do. There's always going to be, there's never going to be a time, unfortunately, where you're not going to have individuals where do really ridiculous things. There are a huge number of people, they stretch out from one corner of the country to the next. And they have...
I hear the defense, but by end of the day, more half of the class.
I am not offering... But Birdsman, I'm not offering a defense for any person's bad action, sir. And I'm not saying that the department should not strive to ensure that nobody violates or does something ridiculous. I am saying, boss, let's not be naive. You got a bunch of people and then they stretch out and they have one certain level of authority and certain control over things. Some of them do nonsense. And the best way to reduce that nonsense, that to make sure that your mentality is, we catch you to do nonsense, we want to hold you accountable for it. End of story. We don't want to try, hide it, we don't want to shield you. You're up on your own if you do simpleness. That's the best and the most effective way of trying to keep it at a minimum. If you go into protective mode, if you go into hide it and don't want to deal with it mode, that only becomes fertile environment for people to say, well, I want to try it, I want to do it. And we also have to understand that they are human beings, and if they are living in a society where they see people that do all manners of things and they get away with it, generally we're human beings and say, well, I want to do my thing too. We have to create a culture of accountability and a culture of all offensive and all infractions, all violations by any who we are deal with. Then again, that's how you reduce the incidents will happen. I think it's important for us to have that consciousness. I know they are to defend anybody.
I agree.
I know they are to defend bad action. But yeah.
Because by the end of the day, you have to big up the police officers and we stand up strong, lift up their chin and looking at the sky and respect the job.
Yeah, man.
One more thing was...
The alone one more thing you want to come with?
You could tell me come out, you know.
I don't like to do that, but I like believe your word. You know, tell me one more thing. I understand that you're a man of many observations and a man of many opinions, but at the same time, we got 5 days, not a week. You could share it along, right?
I don't like this. I don't like this anymore. I don't like this.
Yeah, one more thing. What are the one more thing, Birds?
Hearts still run around in the streets. Youths for hearts. I mean, we don't experience bad tragedies already. And that is something we bring up to the authority to make them pay attention to, because when they look out for the youth, and I don't know when they know, like, with the young boy, because they love the hearts and things. I don't know what the young boy, they put a cap on the back. I do like what I'm doing during the days. I think so love hearts that much.
Well, maybe
because it's very dangerous.
Maybe we need to get more hearts race than just Boxing Day and.
That could be it though. Because you into the heart, make them like a truck, man.
But we not got no more. We not got no more.
It's dangerous.
We not got no more harsh track that track. So I don't know what part. The only track I know where they close are the one that boom. I don't know about any other track right now. So but maybe we need maybe we need to get one jockey, one school for jockeys.
Yeah. Cause listen to me. They're into the drumming. They're into heart. They're into the basketball. They're into football. These are things like everything. The youth, they're into sports activity. So let's go direct to the Mr. Youth and Sports. Pump some money that way there. That evening time after school, the youths, they swarm the park, the feet. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Go that way there. And I'll see good results in our youth thing. That's the first way to make the start to go. Invest in our youth. I say, I feel like always.
Pack up.
About the one that the field park right and
pack up.
Always be active. That's the whole one.
And you know, since that field, and I don't even want to say that part there. I don't want to say that part there. I don't want to aim with a card. I don't want to put mouth. I don't want to go south the situation. I mean, want to say like, I just want to say you could observe the better end, but I don't want to say that part. I don't want to go south.
But that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I know like.
I want to say it because they have a bad.
I don't want to say it, but I could see it. You could see it, right? But you just want just continue gather impact, and what you want is because I want the bigger heads for be convinced of how when you do something where done well, to create positive space. That it does have an impact. At the same time, you know, we not control every day. Something might just happen today and somebody wants to say to me, you see? And you know that way, that no, if something happen negative around there or on that field, it is still in my mind not take away from the observable impact that it has had. And if we were up on the ground to some extent for a little while, we know that a lot of different things may happen in the vicinity of that area for a long time. You feel me? And where I love see, every time I pass, you could see we part, there is a convergence of bigger heads from in that community where used to be like legendary ballers.
They're right there.
Then they're there. But I don't want to go so the thing. I kind of want, you know, I hate that.
No, we have to pick up the thing too because sometimes we have to.
You see, but I don't want. There is so much joy.
Yeah.
Like you know, like some people get joy because they ride in an expensive car. Good for them. I get joy. I don't tell you that. You drive in a really nice whip. I wouldn't feel good in it and I'd be hypocrite. But if I got a nice whip, there's a good feeling that come with that. But there's a joy from come and say that energy there and knowing how it used to be. I got a joy every time I say that place pack up on a lot of youth like on Saturday. And man, it just and you know what it says like why we not do 10 more of that?
Yes, sir.
But
you need the nail on it.
yes, sir. But respect, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, this is WUB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. And our telephone number is 280-5848. It's Tuesday morning. And we always mention, I know they have to talk with myself. I'm not into that. I know they have to preach. That's not my aspiration. I don't have the ambition there. I know into preach. So the only way we could make sure that don't happen, that when you call, because then the thing become reasoning. Sometimes I really need for at least space for jumping on some very serious things, and I want this morning to take on a very serious matter. I think it was last week, early last week, my media colleague from Channel 7 on his morning presentation on his show at Channel 7, Jules Vasquez, brought out into the open, but I yield to the calls, right? Krem, good morning, WUB. Good morning, WUB.
Yes, greetings, my brother, greetings. In the name of the Most High, Allah, Ungiyu, which is Garifan for God. Well, I just want to give my 2 cents on the latest news on the LA. Once again, the LA on fire as many times before. But I want to say that after I analyze different things, events that happened, no, I paraphrase the words of the brother Mr. Marley, Bob Marley. That's an opportunity which is nobody wanted, but it just happened. It's a part of life. But Bob Marley said, he says, soon we'll find out who is the true revolutionary. Because I don't want my brothers to be contrary. Because I see many people identifying themselves as fighters, revolutionary, activists, all kind of names, but they don't go out there and fight. For many years I heard they never go there, stand up and demonstrate, seriously demonstrate, like they were at the King time and many others, like Martin Luther King. Because why? Because they're in love with their green card. They're in love with being sitting at the belly of the beast. And those are not people that I respect as activists. People that is active, I respect for activists. When you listen to so many things, I will tell you, brother, I travel to many countries and I work out on cruise ship. But if you had known who I am, I am the type of person that I do not call myself activist. I used to consider myself a revolutionary from the age of 17. That's 1977. And I had been able to stop workers on the cruise ship from doing their activities simply because of violation of their rights. I have stopped a security branch personnel from doing their simply because of rights. They don't want to give them their rights, and I tell them, well, if you don't want to give your rights, this is what you do. I refuse to take U.S. residence, U.S. citizenship because of the way I am. I don't want to be sitting in front of my enemy, of the belly of the enemy. I don't want to feed from the crumbs of the enemy. So I decide. So my message is also to Belizean, you are over there. If you're going to fight for your rights, do it if you believe it, because it's better to fight than to stay sitting down like a coward. Like some people say, when you go to the prison, I used to hear things like this. They say, if you go to the prison, especially in Central America and other hot prisons around the Latin world, if you go to prison and you meet inside there, welcomed by a mob, and you stop, believe you me, they're going to make you bend down backward and they want to take you as their woman. But if you stand up and you die, I always say to myself, thank God I've never been to any of those prisons, but if I ever go into those prisons, there'll be, as the Marines say in the United States, blessed before dishonor. Because it don't make sense for you to live and then you live like a coward. So fight for your rights. And final wrap up, Belizean, fight for your rights. Everybody come together. Also they say in Spanish, if you come together, well, I mean, it's the same thing. Together we stand. El pueblo unido, that's what they say. The people united. El pueblo unido. Unido never will be defeated. Jamás will será vencido. And those that don't want to fight and believe they don't want to live in that, left back, come back home. Something you'll find over here to do. Because the last thing I say, Brother Muta Baruka said, it's no good to live in a white man country too long. Respect.
All right, sir. Thank you. This is WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, 20 minutes after 7 o'clock. So I was mentioning that early last week I saw a clip of Channel 7's Jules Vasquez bringing attention to the possibility or the ongoing exploration of a mega purchase by BTL to acquire its competitor, Smart, and also to acquire the cable providers, the other main cable providers in the country, namely Centaur and NextGen. Big things. And he was saying he has been hearing this, and he put it out and saying and mentioned different aspects. But anyway, that was just, there was nothing out there. He just was hearing things, and you know, it's a media, it's a journalist that is extremely plugged in, and he put it into the atmosphere that this is going on. He kind of put it in context and described the principles involved. So I'm like, okay, well, see what happens with this. Later on in the week, there comes a release from BTL, and the release from BTL said many things, but notably there was something it did not say. It did not say that the report is untrue, and it did not deny. In fact, said, oh, this has been going on, this conversation's been going on. And then it added something very interesting. It added motivation and justification for BTL to do this. So, one, there was no denial, and two, a big portion of the release, it was making its case why BTL is looking at this as something, as an opportunity. And that is put in on the record, and very little has been said in regards to that. Essentially, something is put out as unconfirmed, without any details. Nobody has said anything on the record as what's going on. But this, if this is going, we're putting it out, putting the nation on alert. That was what was done on Channel 7, putting the nation on alert. This could very well be happening and warming up underneath the surface. You don't know anything about it, but we put you on alert. And the buyer in this scenario jumps out to essentially say, but they are the reasons why, you know, this potentially in a free interest, blah, 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 blah. And there is nothing around, nobody really, it's there. It's on the record. And a day goes by, and another day goes by, and as if though that is not anything to have any concern about. Me and this telephone thing here, I have been very passionate multiple times watching this 20-year trial and tribulation that has been around telecommunications. And we, the people, have paid a huge price for all that has unfolded in the world of telecommunications. And one of the only, what I call the most significant feature that we can say, well, at least we have this, is that we have had for the past couple of years some level of legitimate competition. We've paid a lot, but we have some form of actual competition. We have been haul and pull. We have been deceived. We've been tricked. We've been played. And we have had to pay. But we got competition. And now, the company in which we have legal stake by the ownership of the shares by the government of Belize, and we have private stake that are Belizean. In fact, I believe no less than the Belize National Teachers Union owns shares in BTL. The Belize Social Security Board owns shares in BTL. So it doesn't matter which company you use. As a Belizean, your legal equity is in BTL. Equity and control that you have paid and you are paying and will continue to pay for. So on that fact alone, any matter of this magnitude should be extremely concerning. So at the very minimum, collectively, we should be saying, well, make we hear more about that. You know, wait till when the food don't cook for have a concern about the ingredients in the pot or the method of the cooking. Me hate cilantro. So when somebody say they want to cook for me and then they ask her what you like, I don't wait till they don't cook for make them know, do me one favor. Do not put cilantro in it. Like, if you don't have a Rastaman and somebody want to cook beans for you, you don't wait till the beans don't cook for you, ask if they drop in one piece of pigtail. Before they cook the beans, you say, I no want no pigtail cook along with my beans. You do it before, because no matter what you want to do after that pigtail done cooking and that beans, my friend, you can't take the pigtail juice out of that beans there. So the time for have one intervention that before you start do what you want to do. That no, when you come tell me, I got beans for you. Oh, with Mikey, now Mikey is not going to tell me afterward, boy, I never know, you know, like cilantro. At that point in time, I want to starve. So upon this matter of this magnitude, where now somebody, I would assume at the highest level of our telephone company late last week, put out a release essentially admitting, yeah, we in this, and this one good for we. And if you don't say something now, the principals involved will use the fact that they put out that release last week. They will tell you when you might have some problem in the future, but we may tell you. So actually, that release last week has been, they sneak that out because down the stretch, that will be counted as transparency. While we busy with everything else we busy with, the unions are fighting as they deserve, and they have every right to fight for salary increase, and everybody they deal with, what then they deal with. And in the midst of all of that, what was confirmed last week is the mother of all negotiations that take place, where a phone company that has been haul and pull, sell and buy, that has been milked, and that we have to pay X amount of money for because of all the trials and tribulation. X amount of court cases. And we hear something like that, and we do wait for the beans done cook, we must knock for we head. Can't wait till it done cook. I want to voice my first concern. My first concern. First of several, but this is my first concern. The chairman is somebody that used to come here on this show as senator and was a defender of transparency and accountability as the senator representing no less than the Chamber of Commerce. I had some really amazing conversations with the then Senator Lizaraga, and a very informed person, and a person who consistently came on the show and defended accountability and transparency. Well, cool. The former senator took up a position as the chairperson of BTL. He is really big. As the chairperson of BTL, he had a right to accept that position. I have no judgment. But I hold the former senator to an extremely high standard because he established those very high standards via conversations with myself on this show. One of the aspects of this is that what has been put out and has not been denied in the press release issued by BTL last week, and since there has been no denial, then it must amount to an admission that BTL is not only interested in acquiring Smart, it's also interested in acquiring the cable companies. And one of the premier cable companies is a cable company owned by the brother of the chair. My first problem is not to cast aspersions on the character of any of the people involved, but just to say that is not a good look. In fact, that is a downright terrible look. It doesn't work. And as a defender of transparency and accountability, my expectations are that the chair would understand where it is extremely appropriate and fair for there to be an expectation that any negotiations of that magnitude would require his recusal. I would imagine that that is a no-brainer, because I have had so many conversations with the chair. So that is just the initial first concern. That can't work like that. I bring that up not to grandstand, but to try to say to all the social partners, to all the citizens, I am not accepting the non-response to what amounts to an admission that this is on. I can't say nothing based upon rumors. And even though I have tremendous respect, Jules Vasquez's credibility is to the sky. It's not a rumor monger. If he hear it, trust me, there is something going on there. But even then, I will not just jump to something. I speak now after the release coming from BTL, which amounts to me as admission. The game is on. The game has been on, and we have every reason and justification and have every, more than that, we have a lot of significant advantages, pros to doing this. Not here to determine any of that. But there is a second concern based on that release to the seller and whoever put out that release last week. I never been great at selling things. I would never consider myself to be a salesman, businessman. I no good at selling things at all. There's some people who know how to sell. They know how to, that's for their thing. They know how to sell. They know how to do the game of selling. No. But I have enough sense to know there are some basic fundamental things about selling that you, the seller, or in this case, not the seller, the buyer, not the seller, my mistake, the matter of the buying. BTL is the buyer, and the buyer put out a release. And what concerns me about the release is that the buyer has established in that release that the purchase is not just an asset acquisition. The buyer in that release makes the case about long-term benefits and profits that they could get if it is that this is something that can be agreed upon. Now, one of the fundamental aspects of buying and selling is that the buyer is usually trying to minimize the value of the seller's asset. The buyer tries to lower the advantages in buying so as to lower what the final price arrangement is. So you as the buyer, like if I am going to buy a car from somebody, I know they want to tell them, boy, this car want be a very good thing where I want to use as one limousine to where I want to do so I want to run some caravans on the side and it look good and I want to make some money off it. No, the buyer doesn't make the case to the seller. The buyer is just simply saying, the buyer tries to do, you do. In fact, the buyer should have been extremely pleased with what was done on Channel 7. Because the buyer who now has, say you see, the uno thing, you read the report pound thing out there, you know how to do no a favor, you take what you get. That is, again, I'm not a great buyer, seller person, transaction scene. I don't know business people, but I know some basically things. The buyer, not look for grounds for inflate the value and the legitimacy of acquiring something. So that essentially is what was done in that release. It makes no sense to me. And let us not, again, at the very minimum, we people collectively for say, Koya, can't tell we more. Right now. Now when you're done, now when you wrap your negotiations, because this don't look good. This look like economic incest. So Koya can't tell we more. Not later on, but no. If you don't do that, if we don't do that, if the unions don't do that, if the civil society doesn't do that, if the Chamber of Commerce doesn't do that, what was put out last week amounts to, on the record, transparency. We tell you, we tell you that we not only the buy asset, but that we pay for the elimination of competition. So we willing to pay beyond asset value. That when they put in the release and then put it, and it now is on the record, and you can't say nothing that you never know. You can't say when they bring it don't cook, oh, but I never want that in my food. So days have gone by, that release is on the record, and the amount of vocal response to it has been this much. As if though we all have collective amnesia as to the trials and tribulations that have taken place as a result of deals and wheels in telecommunications over the last 20-25 years. That like we don't remember any of that. I have paid at the level of the business where we operate and from a personal level, huge consequences to having taken strong positions in telecommunications over the last 20 to 25 years. So I don't have no amnesia. And I find it unacceptable that release, in my view, which amounts to, yeah, And I know nothing much. This one do this for we, and this one do that for we, and we be better, and we just have to, and this has been going on, and yeah. That's what the press release was saying. This one good for we, and we are take out the competition. The buyer is making the case for the seller in the release. And we mute. We literally mute. The biggest most shocking thing over the past 3 days for go on the record, that bar none. And I have to believe that the chair of BTL, who I know via the conversations we have had on this show, has an developed consciousness about transparency, accountability, and all that great gravy. So I am sure I'm not saying anything here that he would disagree with, based on all the conversations we have had in the past. And one more thing before we go to break. It is the one that they try to downplay. It's the one that they try to downplay, but let's put it on the record. Potentially what we could have here is that the billionaire from the UK, Mr. Ashcroft, is potentially in a position to get a payoff for Digicel BTL, and then to have that company also give him a payoff for the other phone company. Let's put that in the pot. We go to break, 2 cents calm, and then we take our first commercial break. 2 cents calm is sponsored by 4 Point Security.
And this is XTV. If a category 4 hurricane come to Belize, I wonder if you want to stay or you want to roll. Let's go find out the people in 2 cents. If a category 4 hurricane come to Belize, you want to roll or you want to stay. If a category 4 they come to Belize, you want to roll or you want to stay. 2 cents, what should I do?
I stay right here and take it like a man.
Same question of the day, right?
Question of the day, Big City, my good friend.
If a category 4 hurricane gonna Belize.
But direct Belize City, you're talking?
Yeah. You want to stay, you want to roll?
But I want to run for it. I run for it, boy. You know where it's category 4 Big City?
Alright. That's why I asked you that question.
Boy, you look for an area, so you do, right?
Alright. That's your 2 cents.
Yeah, man.
The question is, for category 4 hurricane gonna Belize, you want to stay, you going? If a category 4 hurricane come to Belize, you are still going there. 2 cents question.
Going away. Can't go nowhere. Yeah, in the hills. My hills are in my house.
So you are staying?
I stay.
2 cents question of the day. If a category 4 hurricane come to Belize, you are stay or going?
I want to stay.
Why you want to stay?
I got a safe house.
That for a category 4?
Category 4, yes, man.
Alright, that's your 2 cents.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, we don't experience that.
What category 4?
You hear that, San Pedro? With a funky?
What category 4?
Category 4.
Are you staying?
Yeah. Keep.
That's your 2 cents.
Yeah.
Whether the job is big or small, every super handy dad needs the right tools. And at Brothers Habet and Habet, we have what you need. Enjoy super savings all June like 15% off all power tools and hand tools, 25% off track car batteries, Eureka Vats, and Pistaforte tiles, 25% off Penta Decon and discontinued colors, 30% off Valspar, and 40% off Dutch Boy paints. Plus, we're giving away $200 to 6 lucky super handy dads. Every $50 you spend gets you a chance to win. So this year, give Dad his best gift yet from Brother Isabet and Habet. Come in or reach out today. Happy Father's Day to all super handy dads.
At Atlantic Bank, we stand as more than just a financial institution. We are your partners in progress, dedicated to fostering your success by providing tailored solutions to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Your successes are our triumphs, and every success story deserves to be celebrated. We pledge to stand by you every step of the way. Today, we celebrate the values that define you with your unwavering dedication, steadfast commitment, boundless innovation, resolute work ethic, and unyielding ambition. We will navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and continue building the future together.
Imagine getting rewards for your spending. Smart prepaid customers countrywide, it's time to level up with Smart Gains. Smart Gains are exclusive, limited time offers sent straight to your phone. We're talking irresistible rewards. You'll actually want extra credit, bonus data, and exclusive perks, all tailored to you. Because at Smart, we've always got your back. Don't miss out on rewards made just for you. Smart Gains, Smart Savings, Smart You. Smart, bringing people together.
Tired of appliances that just don't last? Appliances that just can't keep up? It's time for a change. GE Appliances delivers reliability, innovation, and performance you can trust. The decision is easy. Don't settle for less. Choose quality, choose reliability, choose GE. Paid for by homeowners who demand better appliances.
Welcome back to the WB Wake Up Believes Morning Vibes. We've got a call. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, brother.
Brother Mose.
What's going on, Colin Moore?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Brother Mose, please tell me that you are not discussing the planned sale of buying of BTL or some cable company this morning. That was not what you were discussing about this morning.
I don't know if you've not been listening to the show. I've been discussing what emerged last week, that the BTL has confirmed by its release last week that indeed they have been having conversations about the acquisition of its phone and cable channel competitors, Smart, NextGen, and Centaur.
So, Brother Mose,
Yes, sir.
what you are saying is that after so much years that BTL was in problems and had this problem, we finally get out of all of that, and we get started back with a new pain in the neck. Because, Brother Mose, I don't know if you are technologically advanced as the rest of the world is, because I am not. But what BTL is doing, or what they are saying, is the equivalent of saying today, we are buy back one tape or cassette or DVD company, because that's the way to the future. Almost nobody uses cable. Cable is a dying breed. It maybe has 10, 15 more years and it will be gone. The fact that the general manager or the CEO or the boss of BTL is the brother to one of the bigger companies where they buy scared the hell out of me, because maybe we see the future and then we decide, yeah, what we could do. I could sell this elephant to somebody who is willing to buy it. I will give you a joke just to put in context what I want to make one point about. There was a man named Isaac and one named Balthasar. Isaac sold Balthasar a camel, promising that the camel would do everything in the world that he wanted, and when he got and get the camel wouldn't get up. So Balthasar going back the hell, I said, you have lied to me. You have sold me a camel and doesn't do. Watch out when the man reached Balthasar house, Balthasar looked for half of the veranda, and know Balthasar tell him, boy, that makes so much noise if that's nobody will buy up for you. Boy, stop the make all of the noise if that's nobody will buy up for you. That's how we get right now with this deal. We get
But Colin Moore, I kind of we'll have a talk more tomorrow. I have one guest scheduled at 8. I can't run over time. We will have more time to work up on this. I feel a conversation of the highest priority, because we run the risk of, with our silence, of making what was sent out last week in the form of a release as being counted as transparency and saying, well, we may tell you no. And that, for me, it cannot be allowed. We are going to take our 8 o'clock break at this point, and when we come back on the other side, we're going to have a very special guest in a conversation. Stick around. This is Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes.
Earn V-Bucks and get a chance to win a $10,000 homecation with Benny's. Quality and savings.
Hey, Belizean students! Ready to unlock your future? The Social Security Board is now accepting applications for its 2025 scholarship program. Whether you're aiming for vocational technical, high school, or an associate degree, this is your chance. To qualify, you must be a born Belizean accepted to a school in Belize, entering high school, trade school, or college for the first time, demonstrate financial need and academic potential. Don't wait! Learn more and apply online today at socialsecurity.org.bz. Deadline is Friday, June 27, 2025. Remember, only online applications are accepted. Unlock new opportunities for success with a scholarship from Social Security.
Sea una persona ocupada o atrapada en el tráfico, o que tenga una circunstancia adversa o muy exigente, la tensión se acumula y lo estresa. El estrés ataca a todos en cualquier momento, a cualquier edad. El estrés es un asesino. Es mejor estar vivo que muerto, así que visite la farmacia de Freetown para obtener opciones.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué puedo hacer para usted hoy?
Estoy bien estresado.
Ok, tengo una pastilla que te va a ayudar, ¿ok? Que toma una de eso al día para 10 días y va a estar bien después, ¿sabes?
Ok. Farmacia Freetown, carretera 28 Freetown, donde estás mejor vivo que muerto. Farmacia Freetown, teléfono 22 32 87 6.
All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. On this Tuesday morning, the 10th of June, 2025, our telephone number is 280-5848. At this time, we have a special guest via Zoom linked with us. It's been discussed and featured in the news. We get a chance to have a short little conversation and reasoning with him. We have Dr. Adam Beard, an expert in armed violence prevention, gangs, and organized crime, who has written a book called From South Central to Southside: Gang, Transnationalism, Masculinity, and Disorganized Violence in Belize City. Dr. Beard, good morning and welcome to the show.
Very good morning. Thank you so much for having me on. Just to say, I was in Belize a few days last week and unfortunately I missed you, but I'm really happy to be here by Zoom.
All right, that's great. I've not had an opportunity to get my hands on the book, so I'm talking to you blindly, just based on what has been put out there so far in the media. But looking at the way that you got started on this effort, how did you end up choosing Belize to write a book like this?
I mean, I think that's the best first question. I mean, I've been doing gang research for a couple of decades now, and I know like all of the gang researchers in Latin America and the Caribbean pretty much, you know, it's like a community. And I came to Belize to design a gang intervention project for the UNDP in conjunction with the Department of Youth Services. And I realized then that there wasn't really much research or many publications on what was going on, particularly on Southside. So after I saw that there wasn't much out there, I decided I better come back and do my own research and put a book together. And the main idea was to support, you know, better responses in Belize to try and reduce gang violence. So that was the whole idea, and that began back in 2011, quite a few years ago.
All right. So give us a sense of the duration of the research. Were you living in the South Side? Was it a long distance? How was it achieved? What's the time span?
Yeah, well, what I had to do as a married man with 3 kids and living overseas, I wish I could have stayed on Southside for an extended period, but it just wasn't realistic. So what I did was numerous repeat visits. So I would come and drop into to Belize City and Southside for 3 or 4 weeks at a time, and I put in 7 or 8 visits to put it all together. And so I kind of stitched together a patchwork of all of these visits, did lots of interviews with current gang members, former gang members, retired police officers, politicians, people who work in Belizean institutions, simply locals on Southside, teachers, and a whole range of people. And then with that information, that data, did the analysis and put the book together.
How would you feel if someone says that's still a very limited amount of exposure to all the aspects of Southside culture and the environment in which these street conflicts and street crews have emerged?
Yeah, I'd say I'd accept that. I think that's a fair comment. I mean, I wish I could have spent 5 years living on Southside, but you know, sometimes you just got to work with what you've got. And I think where the listeners will find, if they do get a copy of the book and pick it up, they'll recognize that the analysis is actually, I would like to think, very profound. And I think I really got to know the context and the movers and the players in that setting. I also think one of the advantages is of coming back repeatedly over a number of years, and that gave me a good understanding. And maybe that, like, the final follow-up, which I also think is useful, is, you know, I'm an outsider. So I'm not Belizean, I'm British, and I come in with sort of an outside pair of eyes. And I think sometimes, you know, sometimes we have our noses pressed up against the tree and we can't see the forest. So I think that outsider view is also a useful contribution, because there's lots of discussion about these issues every day, as you probably know on this program, around gang violence and problems in Belize. So just have someone outside with a fresh lens, a fresh opinion to give you an analysis of what's going on, I think is useful. And when I launched the book in the University of the West Indies and at the University of Belize in Belmopan, someone actually said it's actually useful for you to come from the outside, because you actually confirm a lot of things that we've been thinking. So I think in that sense, you know, but I think it's a useful contribution, particularly because there aren't very many publications on the history of gangs in the country. So hopefully that's my one grain of sand that, you know, supports generating ideas to find lasting solutions to gang violence in the city.
How do you view the book? Do you view it as academic information for people who are going to school and taking studies that are related? Do you see it as a tool for people who are involved in the kind of interventions that we see going on? Or do you, tell me.
I think that's a really important question, and maybe something I should have flagged at the beginning. I mean, I think that the listeners or the viewers should be aware that, I mean, it's an academic book published in a very rigorous US university press, Temple University Press. So there are some ideas in there which are a little bit heavy. They're sociological ideas because I'm a sociologist. However, I would say that it's written in a style which is accessible to everyone. There's lots of anecdotes and stories tied into like the more academic theory. Having said that, I think if you're working on these issues, if you're a student of these issues, then I think this is a really important book to be able to get hold of, because it helps you think through the history of gangs, why they set up, why they became so violent, talks about the responses of the state. And I think fundamentally in the last chapter, it's about how could we generate lasting solutions to the problems of violence on South Side. So I would say it's available to everyone. It's a little bit heavy in parts, but in general, I would say the book is accessible, and it's available through Kubola Publishers, which you can find on Facebook. It's also in the National Library. They bought a number of copies, and so any young person, particularly if you're interested in this, I would say definitely pick up a copy because it helps stimulate ideas around these issues.
As a part of your research, was there an element of looking into investigating the issues from a historical origin standpoint? To what extent have you immersed in understanding the history of Southside, history of Belize City, history of Belize as a nation, for that matter? Was there a component of that in your work?
I think that's. I mean, I love these questions. I think they're perfect because that's really fundamental. I mean, I go right back. I'm a white British man, but I talk about the impact of slavery, the brutality, colonialism, and in fact how Southside was set up when it was just Belize town and like a settler community. So Southside were the barracks for slaves originally, but it's still the poorest part of town. So I have this, what we call a trans-historical narrative of the exclusion of Southside and how that's connected to why we get gangs. We don't get gangs in rich parts of town, they come from poor parts of town. So I problematize all of that, and I talk about the origins of the Bloods and Crips. It does talk about the Base Boys, so Belizeans will know about the Base Boys back in the 1980s. And it talks about how these converted into Bloods and Crips when Belizeans, young Belizeans, men mainly, were deported from the USA in as early as the 1980s. And the book has first-hand interviews with one of the founder members of the Crips on Majestic Alley. And it takes us through that whole period about how the Crips were set up on Majestic Alley, the Bloods in George Street. And then it talks about the expansion of the gangs, how they fragmented, and how violence rose at the end of the 1990s. And then it kind of brings us up to present day and the current situation that we have with new generations of gangs in the city. So I've really made an effort to go deep into the history of Belize and connect it to what's going on today. And this is what sociologists, we call it a real political economy of gang violence. And that's just basically academic speak for trying to understand the underlying causes for why we get these problems in a given setting.
Have you had the opportunity to read Dr. Herbert Gale's and his collaborators and partners' work on this issue, and what are your thoughts?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I've spoken to Dr. Herbert Gale several times. When I first came to the country in 2011, I couldn't find any publications on these issues in Belize that were substantial. And then just after I arrived, his report, which he wrote with Nelma Mortis-Jones and Herbert Gale, came out on Milieu Social Inclusion, which gave rise to their subsequent book, like Bushfire. And I think that was really important. What I would flag in terms of the difference between our work, I mean, firstly, I would encourage anyone researching these issues or working on these issues to publish about it. That's crucial. So every new publication is great. I think Dr. Gale and Dr. Mortice Jones's publication, they really did a great evaluation of the current situation of young men on Southside Belize City. So it's kind of like it reported back on exactly what was going on, and it was really, really useful information for me. And then mine it's slightly more conceptual. It's a lot, that political economy I spoke about takes us right back to the past and brings us right up to the present day. And then where I'd say my book and Gale and Mortice Jones's work overlaps is putting forward recommendations, and I think there are always recommendations in these publications, but where I think we struggle in Belize is getting these implemented, right? So I think that's always a big discussion point, but I think we have good ideas about what needs to be done. The challenge is politically getting these implemented on Southside.
I can understand the point you made about having outside eyes look at a matter. There are advantages to having some kind of breathing room in analysis, but there's also a concern about motives. There's also an importance for me when I am opening up myself to opinions and thoughts, to have an understanding, okay, but what are ultimately the motivations here? And there's always going to be the concern when you have somebody who is from a different country examining something that is as sensitive as this to us. What are your motives? Are you being opportunistic? You see a vacuum in literature on this matter. Well, I can write a book on this and it will do well. There's not a lot. Or is it this person is, by his or her character, empathetic, very invested in the well-being of humanity? Give me. I'm not here to judge that, but it is in my mind. I have to put it to you to say, are you just being opportunistic? You see an absence of literature, and it's going to be good for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is also really important. I mean, I'm not going to deny that when I saw that there was nothing written on Belize, I mean, fundamentally, I was like, someone needs to write something on Belize. There's very few publications. And so for me, it's always been attractive to come and write about what's going on in Belize, because you can have a real impact. I mean, we all like to think we're good people and we're doing the right thing, right? But Mr. Hyde, if you pick up the book, what you'll see is a very concerted effort to think through what would make sustainable change to improve the lives of the most affected by gang violence on Southside. And I suppose that this whole process, this research process which led to the book, which was recently published, it began in 2011. I was invited to Belize by the UNDP, and that was, as I mentioned earlier, I put together this research project called Southside Youth Success, and it was a program working with 125 young men. And I think what was really encouraging from that program, what I noticed, was that if you really work and make a concerted effort and generate opportunities and create psychological and social and feeding support for young men on the south side of the city, the majority of them will take these opportunities. And we've seen this as well. This filtered through into the apprenticeship program. We see the LIU as well trying to create work and jobs for young people on Southside as a tactic to get them out of violence. So when I designed that program, which ended in 2014, I was really encouraged. And I think that kind of, from a personal perspective, I thought, we can really do things to make a change on Southside. And so I always resolved to come back. And I suppose if we're talking about, personal motivations, etc., I mean, I've calculated since 2011, I spent $12,000 of my own money just funding trips to come back to be able to write this book. Sometimes I've been funded, sometimes I haven't. But just to make this happen, because it's a cause that I believe in, I've put in my own cash, including the trip to Belize just now to come and launch the book, because for me it's fundamental that Southsiders have a voice. And I feel historically, like the shame of British colonialism and slavery, that people on Southside have often been quite voiceless. They don't get their voices raised in public. So for me personally, it was also very important to do that, which is why I would say, that's my narrative, and that's the good part of the story, and why I'm committed to these issues.
On that note, what type of work or what type of literature have you produced or research you've done when examining some of the similar issues that are presently occurring in the UK. I've read a bit about some of the challenges, maybe not so much gun violence, but I know there is a problem with knives attack and that type of stuff. Are you involved? Have you written? Are you doing any research on that?
No, all of my work, us researchers, we tend to be sort of either country focused or regionally focused. I've been focused in Latin America and the Caribbean, so even though I'm from London, I've never done research in London. But I think an interesting comment to pull out from what you're saying is I think it's very important, and the book talks about this as well, is recognizing the connectedness of very violent gang spaces. I mean, I've been working in parts of Afro-Colombia, a place called Quibdó. I've been working in Medellin in Colombia. I've been working in Kingston, Trinidad, Belize as well. And what you tend to notice are these disaffected, poor, excluded communities where gangs seed and grow. And so I think there's a shared, almost a shared identity between these spaces. And when I talk about gang transnationalism, that means the gangs coming from the US, Belizeans getting deported and coming back into Belize. This kind of like connects groups of poor young men. So it was easy for poor Creole male Southsiders to identify back in the day with poor black and brown men in Los Angeles, in South Central, for example, right? This rebellious identity, rebelling against poverty and society and the exclusion. So I always think that where we get gangs, I call it the social terrain. The communities where they arise are all quite similar. They suffer similar socio and economic challenges. Even we can talk about London and knife crime. It's mainly impoverished, excluded or disaffected populations living in very unequal societies where you get gang violence arising. So there may be very different settings, but they always seem to be connected by context.
To what extent do you view the absence of literature, the absence of research? You've pointed out to some of the significant efforts in that regard, Dr. Gale and everyone that collaborated with him. There was Belizeans here who collaborated with him. I think you mentioned Dr. Mortis there.
Hampton and Mortis Jones,
Yeah, so I'm aware of that. But since this has been such an ongoing crisis, I would say 3.5 to maybe even 4 decades, and you identify that there's been this lack of research, has the academic, domestic academic environment failed? Have they not been active enough? I'm putting you on the spot, but you have identified that there's very little.
Yeah, I think if we go back when I first came to the country in 2011, there wasn't really much going on. It kind of took Herbert Gale to come over here and galvanize local Belizean researchers to produce the research they did. However, I think we also have to recognize that Mr. Hyde, I don't know how old you are, but I'm older than Belize. If we're talking about Belize, getting independence in 1981. So institutions are green, they're young, they're growing shoots. And in 2011, there wasn't really much going on, to be honest, in the University of the West Indies or the University of Belize in terms of research. But now I've come back, I've actually seen the development of, research offices, etc. And so I always say, if there's anyone in the international community or the state institutions listening, that it's really important to fund research in the country, because there are some great minds in Belize, and this research is now beginning to emerge. So I think we're at the dawn of a really exciting time for Belizean academia, and I think we're going to have lots more, if we want to call it indigenous, quote unquote, research coming through. For example, we've seen Dylan Vernon's book recently, which came out in 2023, right, on clientelism, etc. And there are some historical elements. Let's not forget Nuri Mohammed's 2015 book on insights into gang culture. So I think we're kind of, we're at this young stage of research maturity, if you want to call it that. But I was in, for example, the University of Belize on Wednesday, and they had the research office, and I participated in one of their research days. And I was really encouraged to see how much it's developed compared to when I was in University of Belize last time in 2015. So I think there are encouraging signs, but it needs to be continued to be supported, financed, etc. And then I think you'll get homegrown Belizean publications on this. But us academics are slow. Books take time to come out, but they will be coming. I'm sure of that.
Before you go, and I don't want you to preempt the book, obviously we want those who need to get a copy, and I hope to get a copy very soon to check it out. I wish I had an opportunity to read the book before I interviewed you, because then I could maybe press you on maybe some positions or opinions.
I'll come back on, Mr. Hyde. Delighted to come back on.
Great. But I would want to ask, overall, what based on your familiarity, the extent to which you are familiar, what's the most important thing for us to do collectively at the level of the political leadership to grassroots movements around the country? What do you deem to be the most important matter to advance to try to bring our communities to a more safer place?
Yeah, I mean, I think fundamentally I connect gang violence to the situation of social and economic vulnerability in these communities. And so if you don't know when your next meal is going to come from, if you're suffering from malnutrition related illnesses, etc., then this is where you get gangs growing, because they all of a sudden are seen as opportunities for young people to be somebody, to get somewhere, because there aren't any other opportunities. So I'd say a couple of things, right? I'd say, first of all, it's accountability. So when the state institutions and the government make lots of promises, they're going to come in and support and essentially provide a welfare state. I think, Southsiders and Belizeans need to be organised to demand accountability from state institutions and from the government to make sure they deliver on their promises. I think that's fundamental. And so that's one, is accountability. Number two are opportunities, right? And I think what we need for people in these settings are opportunities. We've seen this through, the Birds Isle, peace negotiation way back in the mid-1990s, opportunity generation through the project I designed, Southside Youth Success, opportunity generation, the apprenticeship program under Diane Finnegan, and the LIU at the moment looking for work and opportunities. There needs to be a consolidated effort to generate more opportunities for young people on Southside, support with education, etc. Because if you don't generate these opportunities, young people are going to, get sidetracked into illegal economies and into gang violence. And I would say, I always make a call when I'm in Belize to speak to the power holders and the elites in the country. I live in Guatemala, and it's a very unequal country, and the elites live in luxury prisons in gated communities, and you can't even walk on the streets because there are no opportunities for the rest of society. So my call to the elites would be, you also need to support opportunity creation. Don't ignore Southside. Also to the government and the institutions. When governments come into power, they tend to make an initial effort on Southside to do something, and then after a year, they don't engage with Southside anymore. So there really needs to be a concerted effort at opportunity creation. And as I've said before on the television in Belize, if that can be done, for a number of years, then Southside can get out of the hole. It is possible, but it needs political will, and the people need to make the government and the institutions accountable to generate that.
The book is called From South Central to Southside: Gang, Transnationalism, Masculinity and Disorganized Violence in Belize City, and it's available via Kubola Publishing. Dr. Adam Baird, we want to thank you for being available for the short conversation. Hopefully after I have gotten a chance to read through the book, I can have a more informed conversation with you here in the WUB. Well, thanks for being available.
Mr. Hyde, thank you so much for your time, and to Belizeans, thank you very much for listening.
All right, we take a break, we'll be back. This is Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, Tuesday morning, June 10th.
At Atlantic Bank, we stand as more than just a financial institution. We are your partners in progress, dedicated to fostering your success by providing tailored solutions to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Your successes are our triumphs, and every success story deserves to be celebrated. We pledge to stand by you every step of the way. Today, we celebrate the values that define you with your unwavering dedication, steadfast commitment, boundless innovation, resolute work ethic, and unyielding ambition. We will navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and continue building the future together.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
Imagine getting rewards for your spending. Smart prepaid customers countrywide, it's time to level up with Smart Gains. Smart Gains are exclusive, limited time offers sent straight to your phone. We're talking irresistible rewards. You'll actually want extra credit, bonus data, and exclusive perks, all tailored to you. Because it's Smart, we've always got your back. Don't miss out on rewards made just for you. Smart Gains, Smart Savings, Smart You. Smart, bringing people together.
All right, welcome back. This is WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Mose Hyde here on this Tuesday morning. Our telephone number is 280-5848. This segment I want to just touch base. Listen, I know for a fact that what's going on, we're watching the news, and I mentioned it yesterday, what's going on in LA is obviously this is unlike unrest because of an incident that has happened, or maybe we've seen where maybe when there is violence from police officers in the past, we see protests, we see riot takes place. Let me just take this call. Good morning, WB.
Good morning, Moses, a.k.a. Madwaka. How you doing today, sir?
A.k.a. Madwaka, you know the deal, brother. What's going on, Vegas? Talk to me. I wanted to just quickly just say that I know for a fact that you do have Belizeans that are being affected in a very impactful way, real time, what's going on in Los Angeles, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Well, back to that guy that came on your show just now, like gangbanging. You don't know nothing about gangbanging in South Central LA, so you shouldn't be talking about LA. When it comes to the Belizean diaspora in LA, with the Crips and the Bloods, you know, you got the Rolling 20s that are Belizean Bloods, mostly from Belize City, and where I live in the 30s, Harlem Crips or Majestic Alley people when they get deported and everything. That's the Belizean diaspora. Now, we black African Americans, I consider myself an African American / Belizean and everything. No matter how much poverty you have in LA, there's always free education and free health. So gangbanging is a choice. No matter how poor you are, we always have free education in California. You know, so, you know, I don't know how they're going to correct that situation in Belize for the gangbanging situation, but you do have a choice to get out of poverty when it comes to gangbanging in LA. Now, when it comes to the time right now of Belizeans in LA, LA is rough right now for Americans, for black Americans and Belizeans. You got people living on top of each other. You got 4 or 6 people living in one household in one bedroom as Belizeans, or they're living in their cousin's car, sleeping in their cousin's car, then go eat breakfast in the morning time. That's the real scenario when it comes to Belizeans when they come to LA right now. I don't know about New York or Dallas or Chicago, but LA, you got a lot of homeless Belizeans who live here. You know, they come for the American dream, but they don't have a plan when they come to America. And an average job right now, $15-20 an hour in LA. You cannot live by yourself in LA. I don't care what you do, you gotta work 2 jobs. So when you come to America, you better have a plan of working 16 hours a day if you want to survive in LA, if you ain't got no type of degree or any type of certified skill profession.
So tell me something, Vegas. So tell me something, Vegas. You're supporting Marines going into your LA communities, into your neighborhoods where you know your peoples are. You support that. You support Marines going to 48 and bringing military level of presence into the area.
Well, you know, I'm from LA. I'm from South Central LA. You know, I came to Las Vegas to come teach at a state college, state university. I teach electrical and construction management. But in LA, when it comes to basically the National Guards and everything, they're not in the black territory right now. They're mostly on the east side of LA, East Los Angeles, where the NS-13s and the 18th streets are all present right now. So you really don't feel the effect of it. Only the effect we would feel if they were blocked the freeways, the 101 freeway or the 10th freeway, then you'll feel the effect of the traffic and everything. You know, right now right now, that riot, I mean, I don't call it a riot, that protest is at a low elevation right now. It's going to spark back up on the weekend when these essays are off of work and everything. But Moses, one thing right now, there are 25% protesters, and 75% of them are gangbangers from Florence 13s and their 13s. They're looking for opportunity to go loot and go riot. You know, the protesters are doing their job professionally, but you got the 75% that's looking to burn down the city and see what kind of free goods they could get, or tear down an ATM out of the store, pull it out with a car and stuff like that. You know, so right now it's at an elevation right now, but watch Friday, Saturday, it's going to pick right back up. You know, let's say it's one right now. Yeah, you see cars burning up and everything. That's normal. We used to seeing that. Like I said, when the Lakers win the championship, that's how it looks in LA sometimes. When
it's different, Vegas. Vegas. It's different, and you know it's different. It's different because it's not just the fight is not what's going on there is it is not over something that has happened. It is over something that is happening, and that there is a commitment to do more. So you have the ICE, you have ICE going to schools to try to get students. It's listen. I am not an American. I am not. I am just telling you. I am just telling you that we have our people who are essentially in a position where they are going to be herded as if though they are animals, bro. And I feel that our outreach, state outreach in these communities has to do more, has to be proactive. It has to.
Yes. Yeah. They need to be more proactive because my friend got caught up in he was going to work the other day in LA, and within 2 blocks, he got pulled over by ICE.
Yeah.
5 cars. So they waited till he got up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be at work at 6. You know, so it's like a stakeout, like the narcotics sticking out a crack house. But yeah, he got pulled over, and he went and they sent him to San Bernardino facility. The next 24 hours, he was sent to Washington. That's where the cargo of people is being deported from Washington, New Orleans, and on the East Coast, somewhere in Miami or Atlanta, somewhere. You know, but they try to make your due process as short as possible, that you have some type of legal representation once you get detained by ICE. You know, I've been stopped. I got Belizean decals on my license plate, so I got boxing gloves, and so, you know, like Sister Yaya said, this racial profile and everything. They pulled me over, want to see, look, want to see my ID? I said, here's my U.S. passport. No, I want to see your ID. Look, police officer, this passport is my life. It's my Social Security. It's my driver's license. It's my ID. You know, so they are racial profiling people, like Sister Yaya saying, you know. But people who go to work nowadays are scared to go to work. But the most, I got friends that got deported. I mean, go to vacation. They commit crimes in 20, 25 years. But once you got possession of sales on your record or selling crack cocaine with a green card, you go to Belize for vacation, even though you did your time 20 years ago. Man, when you go to Houston, Miami, or LA, you're going to make a U-turn right back to Belize. That's what's going on right now. Even your old records are used against you. You know, people who have green cards, they will never be able to file for a citizenship again here in America once you got a crime. You know, since stalking, domestic violence, possession of sales, or got caught with a pistol or something like that. So they are making it more worse, especially with this real ID that you got nowadays that's coming out. It's a trap. We got new ID in America called Real ID. I'm American, so I got that on my ID. And without that, you cannot fly nowhere, nowhere at all. So it is going to be a setup. And it's going to be worse and worse. It's going to get worse. But California, like I said, LA is not going to stand for that. LA people, well, the Mexicans, they don't play that type of stuff. You know, we blacks can talk a lot of stuff, but those Mexicans, they don't go out there and do things to you, doing the protests and everything.
All right, Vegas, I want to thank you for your contribution this morning.
You have a good day, my black. God bless up.
Yeah, man, you do the same. Give thanks. This is WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes on this Tuesday morning. We want to take a break and come back.
Take a deep breath. You feel that energy coursing through your body? That's because of me. I am the rainforest. I produce the air you breathe. I make it rain. I'm also your pharmacy. I'm home to more plants and wildlife than you're ever going to see in your lifetime. I work hard day and night, taking in all the carbon dioxide you produce and turning it into life-giving oxygen. My personality is singular. My biodiversity is mind-blowing. My generosity knows no bounds. But then, so does your greed. I give you everything I have for free. I don't want thanks. I just want respect. I want you to stop acting like I'm just bush. I want you to stop treating me like dirt. I want you to see life, not lumber. I want you to always be able to come to me and find your roots, to unwind, and yes, to always be able to breathe deep. That's a privilege many will pay for, but it's not about money. It's about having a future.
At Atlantic Bank, we stand as more than just a financial institution. We are your partners in progress, dedicated to fostering your success by providing tailored solutions to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Your successes are our triumphs, and every success story deserves to be celebrated. We pledge to stand by you every step of the way. Today, we celebrate the values that define you with your unwavering dedication, steadfast commitment, boundless innovation, resolute work ethic, and unyielding ambition. We will navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and continue building the future together.
Make light work lighter and quicker with switch technology from Axi Power Tools. Axi Switch technology breaks the bondage of power cords and grants you the luxury of freedom and precision. Switch one battery across all your Axi line power tools effortlessly, allowing for quick and efficient work. Cut the cords. Choose efficiency with Axi Switch technology. Only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Let's take a journey through the core functions of the Social Security Board. It all starts with registering as an insured person, employer, or self-employed individual. Sign up for a portal account to manage your Social Security information online. Just provide accurate information and click Create. This will give you access to a range of services and benefits. Next, your contribution, along with investments and other income, are collected and distributed into 3 funds. This ensures that the SSB fund is securely utilized to support various benefit programs. The SSB is committed to providing essential benefits such as sickness, maternity, injury, and pension. These benefits are paid out to eligible individuals as a part of the Social Security coverage. We help you navigate through life's challenges with financial security. Annual surplus accumulates to grow the fund each year. This surplus is invested into various industries, contributing to the growth and development of our nation. With each passing year, the fund continues to grow. Due to the annual surplus, and interest revenue earned from prudent investments. This surplus, along with reserves, helps to bolster the SSB fund and provide a safety net for those in need. We've arrived at the end of our journey to better understanding how the SSB works. We remain committed to serving you and building a secure future for all Belizeans.
All right, this is WUB, and we don't have no lot of time. We are out of time, in fact, for today, but with health and strength, you know, we always could look forward to the next morning. The next morning brings you time, and we're able to continue on with our conversation. Colimo, make sure you line up and don't miss out and know how you go. All right, we hope you guys have a great Tuesday. Always, we give thanks to the team behind the scene at Creme Radio, of course. Larry G, he's the man, and at XTV, it's the Glow, Pacliff, Mr. Lewis, run things, and our director in control, Ms. Krista Flowers. Health and Strength, I'm going to come back tomorrow morning, 6:30, for the Wednesday morning edition of Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. As always, to all of you, stand strong, stand firm. For now, we're gone!
Wake up, believe, wake up, believe. Wake up, believe, wake up, believe. Another day is here. Wake up, believe, wake up, believe. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, believe. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, believe, wake up, believe. Voice of opinion and place of calling. Be yourself, see yourself, this is a show, my people.